Good afternoon, everybody. It's Miss Holly from the library. So we are here today with some very special guests that are doing a book signing for us, and I'm going to let my friend Nico tell you a little bit about them. Ready?
This is my Papa, Eric Lowdermilk, and this is my sister, Leah Pacurari, and thank you for coming to the book signing of Where the River Ebbs book. We are going to sign. They are going to sign books, and they're going to sign books and give hugs, I think, maybe. And they're going to read 2 chapters. Please give them a round of applause.
Thank you, Nico. Yes, I'm Eric Lowdermilk, and this is Leah. The kids call me Papa. Just don't call me late for dinner. So we're each going to read a chapter, and we have free bookmarks today, which you can come by the library after today if you're watching online, and get a bookmark at the front desk and read chapter 7 on your own, free off your phone or tablet. So, chapter 7. The cabin, mud, and a stranger. Just ahead on the left is where we fish and swim. I'll show you, Luke said. They trotted on. Eventually, the roadbed widened out to another big clearing. There were parts of what looked like an old cabin on the right, and the river opened up to Owen's view on the left. That section of the river was a slow-moving bend. A long line of rocks extended halfway across to the opposite bank. Where the water met the rocks, it swirled backwards, like it wanted to form a circle, slowing its pace, but then losing the circle as it seemed to almost stop flowing. That's the river's ebb, said Luke, where the water doubles back and slows down. Mom says rivers only truly ebb near the ocean, where she grew up. But she says Deep River is funny here, and ebbs just in this curve. It really slows down here, almost like the water turns backwards. The slow-moving scene gave Owen a peaceful feeling, like he always felt when he came to the easy, laid-back ways of the Harrison family farm. It was as if the bad stuff he experienced at school, well, kind of went backwards here. Like his life slowed down so much that for one day, it made up for the several bad days just before it. Looking closer, Owen noticed the water was a murky but almost see-through light brown color. The river's a little bit clearer today. Hasn't rained in almost 2 weeks, said Luke. Well, what's that? Owen said, turning around and pointing to the posts and boards standing lopsided on the hill. That's our old cabin, Luke answered. My grandpa built it years ago, but then it got old, rotted, and started falling down. Dad was going to rebuild it, but he's now thinking we need to move it up the hill further beyond before he builds it. Why? Owen asked. Well, see way up there, Luke said, pointing halfway up the hill. Dad says once, when he was a little boy, the river rose that high after it rained for 2 weeks straight. If we build it here, a flood could knock it down again. Oh, Owen replied. Mr. Harrison, Luke's father, could build or fix just about anything. He farmed, repaired tractors and trucks, and made homemade grills. The boys roamed around for a while and got their clothes quite muddy. At the river's edge, the dirt was softer and wetter than on the trail. They slipped and fell a few times as they followed the narrow footpath along the bank. Luke and Owen were always seemed to find mud one way or the other. The boys were having a blast, but wished they'd brought fishing rods. There was a swing with a tire on it, and Owen could have kicked himself for not bringing his swim trunks. But their parents probably wouldn't want them swimming without adults there. Maybe the water would have been cold, too. After about 2 hours of exploring, they started back to the campsite. They walked back to the turn where the trail headed back up the hill, past the open field, walked over the brown leafy road with the white flint rocks peeking at them, back down and across the gully, and then circled back up, approaching the campsite from behind. As they got closer, they saw some kind of a brown vehicle parked close to the campsite. Who could that be? Owen wondered. The boys slowed down a bit, but continued around the circle trail. Owen didn't want to admit it, but he was just a little bit scared. With all the new leaves on the trees, he couldn't see the vehicle clear enough to recognize it. Just as they came up to the campsite, they were startled by a loud voice behind them. "What are you two boys doing down here?" End of chapter 7.
Chapter 8. The Stolen Money. Owen jumped and turned around fast. His hair stood up again, as it had when the hornets were chasing him. "Oh, Mr. Harrison, you scared me. Where did you come from?" Owen asked, trying to hide how frightened he'd been. "I came up from the trail from Mary's grave. Where have you two been?" Mr. Harrison asked again. Before Luke could answer his dad, Owen interrupted. "Mary's grave? What's that?" "I'll explain later, Owen," Luke said. "Dad, we were just walking down to the river to explore. I showed Owen our fishing and swimming spot and what's left of Grandpa's old cabin." Luke was trying to answer his dad with respect, but he was surprised by the sound of Mr. Harrison's voice. His dad rarely got upset with the boys, but when he did, they knew it must be serious. "I looked all around from here to the house for you boys. Where are your bikes?" Mr. Harrison still sounded upset. "Oh, we hid them behind the big white oak, just behind you. We didn't want someone to steal them. Remember last year when those people we didn't know camped here without permission and littered and made a big mess of the place? And when we came up the trail just now, we saw your truck, but I wasn't sure it was you, so we kept quiet until we got close," he answered, trying to figure out why they seemed to be in trouble. "Oh, well, that makes sense. I'm sorry, boys. Just a little fretful at the moment. Luke, your mom wants you two to come home right away. Something bad has happened. Let's load your bikes in the truck, and I'll explain what's up on the ride back." The boys wheeled their bikes out from under the large tree. Mr. Harrison easily lifted them into the truck with his strong tanned arms. Owen always noticed Mr. Harrison's arms were strong and dark from all his time working in the fields under the hot sun. They were also dark because Mr. Harrison was part of the Cherokee bloodline. The boys piled into the old brown truck, and Mr. Harrison drove back to the farmhouse, but through some tractor trails by the other fields, instead of the way the boys had come by Nellie's house. "Boys," Mr. Harrison said, "some trouble has come up. Pastor Nance called about 2 hours ago. You know during church service, we take up offering every Sunday to keep the church up?" "Yes, sir," they both replied. "Well, the ushers count the money and put it into the old safe in the office during the service." Mr. Harrison paused and slowly guided the truck through the rocky low water creek between the fields. "Well, today," he continued, "a thief broke into the church office during the service and somehow opened the safe and stole over $200, and we didn't hear so much as a peep." "Really?" both the boys exclaimed. "We were robbed! Luke, son, your mom is pretty upset, and I think it's best if you stay near the house the rest of the day until we know just who's roaming around Maple Springs." Mr. Harrison sighed. Wasn't normal for Maple Springs community. In fact, one of the odd but nice things Owen always noticed was that the Harrisons never locked any door in their house, car, or truck. It gave Owen a safe feeling, at least until today. They rolled out of the last trail across from Mr. Harrison's chicken houses and onto the main dirt road. Just a little ways down the road, they turned into the farmhouse driveway. End of chapter 8.
Well, thank you for listening We have time for questions. Any questions in the audience?
What is your favorite part of the book?
I like the mystery part and finding out who stole the money and finding out like how the rest of their summer went.
The book is based off of myself and my childhood best friend. And my favorite part of the book is the descriptions of the slower life in the woods in the rural South and going to Deep River where I fished many a times.
Very cool.
Is any part of the book completely true?
Yes. We have 3 illustrations in the book by our illustrator, Dave O'Connell. And the third illustration on page 46 is 100% true. There's nothing made up about that. My character, Owen, we're walking, taking a shortcut by walking in the creek and hopping from rock to rock. And I'll never forget the day. It was a sunny day. And I wobbled on a rock and reached over and grabbed a vine. But the vine was quite warm and slithered its tongue at me. So there was about a 10 or 12 inch snake wrapped around the vine, and he just looked at me. And of course, I jerked my hand back really quickly, but that's one of the completely true stories. Everything else is based in truth, but some of it's been changed a little.
Did you have a question?
Is this a true story?
I would say probably 80% of the book is true. The main plot is based on a character, but a lot of the main plot we had to construe. So, but many stories get muddy in Deep River and swinging and fishing out there. Any other questions?
We got one more right here.
Okay.
What inspired you to write this book?
You want to go first?
My papa started this a while back, and he read it to me a while ago, and I wasn't very interested. And then he read it to me when I was a little bit older, and I was interested, and we started writing it together.
Yeah, I had written the first chapter when my daughter Rachel, who's taking the questions, was in early high school over 20 years ago. Well, I wrote the chapter and then read it to her when she was at that age, and she was interested. I wrote it because I wanted to capture some of those memories as a child. Since college, I've always lived in large cities, and I find it important to get away and to get outdoors and to slow down and go where the river ebbs. So I wrote it for my children and grandchildren and for other kids. And I think reading is really important. So thank you for your questions. We are selling the book today. We want everyone to get a free bookmark where you can read a chapter free on our webpage. There's a couple different ways to buy it. If you buy it today, you get $2 off. The paperback is $17 on Amazon, and the hard copy is $22 on Amazon. They are $15 and $20 today. If you purchase the paperback from us today, it'll be here in the library to pick up in just a couple days. If you purchase the hardback from us today, it'll be delayed a couple weeks. If you really want the hardback quickly, I would advise you to get it from Amazon. And the last way is you can order it off of our website, which is on the bookmark, and we have a coupon code for free shipping, or you can use a 10% off Claude W. Roddy Library coupon. So, Holly, thank you for having us. To everyone online, thanks for watching, and please read the book.